so at the beginning of season 4, we've switched the genre of the format of the show from being a family comedy to being an office comedy. But our aliens are really bad at office stuff, so I'll have to let you guys
And of course, being
see how
solar
long it
opposites,
works.
they work in the dumbest office ever.
They work in the stupidest office, but it should feel like the worst episode of The Office in a funny way, basically.
Now, will you still be mixing in the walls?
Oh
Oh yeah, you'll be getting a really. You want to tell them what the wall's like next season in season 4?
Yeah, so we transitioned from like a horror monster kind of theme that we did in season 3 to a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy kind of
Yeah,
It's like a Cold War.
theme, very Cold War.
yeah. We end the last season on the rise of this theocracy.
Yep, with Sister Sisto and basically what religion has done inside the wall, without spoiling too much. And then the thing that also got us really excited was we continue on with the Silver Cop story in a really fun and surprising way, and it's got legs the same way the wall did. So we're doing even more kind of drama spin-offs.
We're trying to do as many spin-offs as we can. As Mike likes to say, it's almost like we're greenlighting our own mini
our own
shows.
network.
We have our own Solar
Yeah.
Opposites network.
Someday the executives are going to be like, "Are you treating your show like a little app store of other shows?" And we're going to be like, "Oh no," because nobody would ever let us write a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. We're comedy writers. We're idiots. But like,
Well, don't
in
tell the
for-
network that's what you've done.
Well, luckily, if it's little people that eat jelly beans and they're doing it, it's awesome and it works really well. And it's just a dream to get to write that stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, with 11 episodes, we have more time to do alien stuff and extra weird drama stuff. So it's never like the show isn't what it was in the first place. It just keeps growing in a cool way.
Yeah, I mean, like once we got to 11 episodes, we were able to do one of my favorite episodes of season 3 is 99 Ships, which is where we get to see,
Thank you, man.
we sort of extrapolate from the opening credits into what happened, and we learn all this stuff about Schlorp. And that was when we got the extra episodes. Mike sort of had that in his back pocket for a while. We got to do an episode like that, So that's what's great about doing more episodes, and we'll be doing another special. We're announcing our special today that will be coming in the fall at the panel, and then we'll do another special.
The year after,
The
for
year
season
after,
4,
too.
we've already written another special.
Yeah.
We like making fun of holiday specials because we love TV. And we love making fun of TV in a way while we're making TV. We like a thing and a thing and a thing. And when we used to have 8 episodes, we were like, okay, 2 of these episodes can be ridiculous. And then 6 have to be on point, right? So now that we have 11, we're like, ooh, we get more fully ridiculous
It's too much.
episodes. Yeah, that's why we had the whole episode where they're stuck in a line the whole time.
Right.
Because we're trying to like play with format and see what we can do that no other show can do. And that's kind of what Solar Opposites like flavor is like, what can nobody else do that our show is both smart enough and silly enough at the same time to be able to get away with?
Or dumb enough.
And to that, is there anything that you pulled yourselves back from doing?
Ooh.
Man, pull yourselves back, meaning yes, but only because we're like, let's let this slow cook a little bit longer. Like with the wall, we want to go slow. If we jumped ahead, like we have a baby character in the wall, and it's like, oh boy, now we have a baby. And it's like, no, we're going to have to figure out how to do it. We can't just age her up. You know what I mean? Like, it feels, once you start having something so ridiculous that when you add these little guardrails and boxes you have to write in, you have to be more creative to come up with stories. And so it's more like self-editing, like that kind of stuff.
It's so funny. That's like such a great question because there's so many times in the room where we'll get to something and we're like, well, we can't possibly do that, and then we'll take a beat like, so let's figure out how to do it. Like we were trying to figure out in one season, we were trying to figure out the best, craziest fight scene we could, and we kept trying to top it, and then someone just as a bit was like, what if we just put like a post-it and say like Hulu didn't give us enough budget, and we laughed and we're like, no, let's fucking do that. Let's do that.
And Hulu, by the way, we have a whole episode where they go to Hulu Land. Hulu has been, I have to say, like, Hulu's been amazing. We make fun of them all the time, and they're the best partner.
Hulu Land, I'm glad you brought it up because thematically there's this weird thing where our sense of humor is things that feel like we were made to do it, but nobody asked us to do it. So like, Hulu never asked us to bring them up all the time. We just loved when The Simpsons made fun of Fox. So we were like, we're going to be the only people ever to mention Hulu in a show, And then it's like, our movie references are always out of date because we'll never be on cutting edge. But
What do you mean?
like,
No one's talking about Daylight?
yeah, they're still on. But at the same time, it's like, no, we have all these products we mentioned in the show. They're not paying us to be mentioned in the show. We're doing it because it's funny to us that a show so vulgar would then reference KFC, where some KFC executive would have like a biscuit drop out of their mouth if they saw that episode. So like,
We're dying to sell out. No one will let us
nobody will
sell
take
out.
our money. Nobody's
We would-
taking the
please,
Solar Opposites money.
Please, we will sell out.
They're like, what's this? This
trying
looks like
so
Rick and
hard.
Morty.
Yeah,
We'll watch
we
an
will sell
episode.
out.
We must not pay these people anything.
I think you just mentioned like picking the funniest movies to parody. The Christmas episode is, in my mind, the best one because you just parody that one
Well-
Arnold Schwarzenegger. You're like, what?
Well, there's a
How did
funny thing about
happen?
that. So at the end of, we only had 8 episodes that season,
Yeah.
and we just like, we had a blast writing it, and I was like, we have 2 more weeks of writer's room. So I called Hulu, and I was like, I think we can write a Christmas special. And they were like, you know what? We'll extend you for an entire other episode's budget, which is a big ask. And I was like, all right, guys, we got to do a really good Christmas episode. So what I want to do is parody a Christmas movie I've never seen just based on the trailer. So then we wrote the Christmas episode, and I refused to watch Jingle All the Way.
He's
And
still never seen it.
The writer's assistant kept being like, that's not what happens. And I'm like, yeah, but
It doesn't matter.
it feels like it could have happened in Jingle All the Way.
So has anybody in the office given you a Turbo Man figure?
Yes,
Why? What movie is that from?
we got Turbo Man figures.
Somebody gave us a
Somebody
Turbo Man
gave us
figures.
Turbo
I mean,
figures.
just the tone of a Christmas special is so fun, and I don't know. Like, I think I could write 100 Christmas specials because it's so freeing. Because like,
Yeah.
the format's there.
It's just all about
We
getting
love.
the
I mean,
spirit.
this one, the. I should. Well, no, it
This
doesn't
special.
matter. This
Yeah,
special,
you
it's
can
fine.
tell.
The Halloween special is what we're doing, and we bring back like an amazing sort of classic Halloween-y scary movie character that no one's talked about
No one's talked-
forever.
And nobody cares
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about, but it's great, and we actually got the same person to do the voice, so it's gonna be super fun. We have already one for next year that's gonna be so much fun. We love doing specials.
We also like, nobody ever asked us to hire Tiffany Haddish as a blue glowing orb, but she's so funny in the show that in 4th season we give her even more. Now we're
She
like,
has a whole
she's
episode.
game for every. I've never seen somebody show up as famous and talented as she is and give 100% to the most ridiculous role.
She
You know?
works so hard. I mean, that's kind of like the benefit of our show too. Is like we're like, let's play drama writers, and then we write a drama, and then they give us like Christina Hendricks, and we're like,
Well,
oh.
then-
and Sterling K. Brown, and we're like, oh,
And Alfred
great.
Molina and just so many amazing.
Sutton Foster, we have,
Yeah.
Sutton Foster. The idea of having be Sutton Foster, like Broadway sweetheart, be the mean,
evil nun.
evil nun.
But then on top of that, my 8-year-old plays the pupa. And like, I created that role for him when we were first developing it, because he had just been born. And then once a season, we back up all of his lines, and I take him into the studio with a box of candy. And
What does he get afterwards, though?
he always gets a soft serve ice cream on the way home, which is awesome. And I'm like, I would have loved to have done this with my dad growing up.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll turn it on me and be angry about it in the future for some reason, because like, he is my son. But like, we just love, this show is TV nerds loving what they do, getting to do things with no rules we've never gotten to do before. And like, that's why you can never predict what's gonna happen in the show, because we're being crazy. We're having so much fun with it.
Is there ever an idea that's thrown out that you absolutely cannot use, and you use it in the 4th season? It's like, is
my
there something
gosh.
from the past that you just bring back up?
Boy,
There's one thing we've never used, we keep talking about.
poor dad.
We want to do a thing where they go in Family Feud.
Yeah.
Like
but
some kind of game show.
But nobody can
because
decide who
they're
the dad
sexless
is.
aliens. They're right. They
All
change.
claim they're like, I feel like I have the most dad energy of the bunch, and then every time we write it, it just turns into this vortex where we're like, put it on the
Yeah.
back burner for
But
another
then they would
season.
all argue about who gets to be the dad on
Yeah.
Family Feud. That one will get done sometime.
I feel like this is the perfect venue for it, not us having to figure out how to write it.
It sounds like the show could go forever. Do you think it could? Like, if they came to you and wanted to give you a Rick and Morty style 100-episode deal, would you take
Oh,
it?
easily,
Yes.
because
Are you offering? We'll do
the
it.
Yeah, I
further
got
we
the money. I'll
know,
write the check. Yeah.
the more rail we have, the more deep-seated stuff we can figure. Like, I'm such a fan of the comic and the show Invincible, and they do the most. You guys haven't gotten there yet unless you've read the comics, but like, he will seed stuff. Like Kirkman will seed stuff so early that like 50, 60 issues later will suddenly become the biggest thing. And I love that type of storytelling, and that's long form. You have to know you have a lot of that, you have to believe that you're going to get to keep doing it. If we knew we had 100 episodes of Solar, the first thing we would do is figure out what would happen every 20 episodes, and then start filling in all this fun, but have a master plan.
But we've already done that. Like, we cast Sutton Foster 2 years ago, knowing that she would end up being evil.
We have like 3 or 4 seasons figured out in advance.
The Silver Cops, Mike.
Next question is last question.
And to that point, episode 100, you have an end game in mind, like Kirkman did. In the comics, he pulled the rug out from us.
Right now, I do. I don't want to say it, but I'm always open to finding out there was something better than I thought it was going to be, because we have this amazing team of writers and Joe, and like, what ends up happening is
He's
like,
a gentle soul.
he's a gentle soul.
He's a gentle soul.
And what ends up happening is like, somebody smarter and funnier than me in the room puts together a different puzzle piece, and you're like, oh my God, that's an amazing idea.
But we still have we got one of the things that we did this year, which I'm surprised more people have been pissed off about, is on Hulu Land, right? We did this whole thing where everyone got big and got out. We got a glimpse of that. It was a dream. And then also in the 99 ships, we got a glimpse of what it looks like when the pupa terraforms. 2 huge things that we wanted to give it a little glimpse, knowing that that's not going to come for years. The real version of that is not going to come for years.
Yeah, for me, I want to be surprised myself, and I also want to I want to see how the Solar family grows into more of a strong family. Like, none of this matters unless we have heart, right? And the more heart they're finding, it feels good as it's growing. You're like, oh my God, thank God they like each other. You know what I mean? And like, watching that grow and watching how the show remains ridiculous, that's the balance. Like, that's the only hard thing about this show, is not letting the characters like kind of immolate each other and just be crazy all the time. Like, actually grow as emotional characters. And that's probably what the end game is going to be, is like the biggest heart with the biggest comedy. But Hulu has to pick us up for 100 more episodes, and then we'll do it.
All right, we'll try.
Thank you guys. Whatever you can do.
That's the kind of question
Thank
I
you
like.
very much.
Yeah, let's get that one out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Also, Justin's game is coming out in October.
Yeah, he told us about it.